How are you?
I feel like we're so out of sync with this, with like, guess me being out, you being out.
I know, but
Just
I was
sync
jealous of
here.
you having a little weekend vacation down in Florida. It looked like a nice little getaway.
It really was. And Sanibel Island is one of those places like I've seen and I've heard about the seashells. But oh my God, till you get there, I would do it again. And I'm not
Okay.
much of a, little land trip kind of girly, but I think because there's also like enough to go actively do with the seashell, and my daughter's like obsessed with that. So, um, and what's kind of nice about it is there's no like big brand hotels as much as I miss my Marriott points here, but it's small. Everything's like,
Right.
small hotels, small little vacation rentals. Like it does kind of feel a little secluded, but still has like, all your modern things.
Yeah.
It's really great.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. It is Today in Travel. You heard a little bit of the pre-show talking about Haley's trips, but guys, if you're just joining us, thank you. I am Jason Poole. I'm a travel advisor. I love helping people plan their vacations, if it's all-inclusive resorts, hotels, airlines, lots of airline talk today.
Yeah.
And no one knows airlines better than my co-host, except for me. Haley, introduce
And Ken
yourself.
Jarvis. We have to throw Ken Jarvis, our other admin, in here on
He
that.
he knows them the best of all of us. But introduce yourself if people don't know why they should listen to your travel advice.
I mean, I don't know why some days, but my name is Haley. I own the hotel sales support company, Hospitality with a Flair, with my amazing team there. And then because I hate free time, I write a travel blog and love going all over wherever I can. So Europe, Disney, cruising, wherever life takes me.
Love it. Well, guys, we have some great topics today. We're starting off with Virgin Voyages. They are finally announcing the debut of their Brilliant Lady. It's their fourth vessel, and it was delayed. They had to cancel stuff. They're finally doing it, and I really like they're calling it the North America tour. I've seen cruise lines do this before. Norwegian's done this with some of their new ships, and Virgin's basically going to take it on tour in late 2025. It's going to do some sailings out of New York City. You're going to visit Bermuda, Los Angeles, Miami, Seattle. You know what? I have long said Virgin should do Alaska, and they are. But people always think Alaska's like, oh, it's for old people. You can do.
I love Alaska.
I
Like,
know,
I love this. I mean, what? I've done it 3 times now on 3 different cruise lines.
right?
Um, and I think the thing that I enjoy about it, also being a northern gal here, is I don't like going somewhere in the summer where I'm going to like sweat to death.
Right.
And
I
now that I've done Alaska so much, you and I have talked, I would go and just like sit on my balcony and just.
I mean, I'm going in
It's
August.
kind of like a relaxing, like it's become a bit more of a relaxing thing.
So that's one reason I like Alaska, and one reason I thought Virgin makes sense in Alaska is people are like, "What's Alaska like?" And I said, Alaska is unique, right? But if you do the Caribbean, get off the ship, most people's days are roughly the same. You're either on the beach, you're at a tiki hut, like most of the time it's the same. In the Mediterranean, kind of the same thing. You get off in these beautiful towns,
You're going to see historics, you're doing a food tour.
right? But Alaska, you can do everything from just chill, where the scenery is beautiful. You can go hiking on a glacier. You can do a helicopter
Go
ride.
dog sledding.
Yeah, you can go tour a beer distillery. I mean, really, Alaska is for the chill and the adventure. And I think it makes total sense for Virgin to introduce Alaska, especially to the younger and or maybe a little bit more adventurous crowd.
No, I completely agree, and I think I'm excited to see what comes
I'm
of
too.
that.
I'm too. My associate and friend of ours, Shanita, texts me. She's like, "You've been saying Virgin gets to go to Alaska. Guess what? They are." So I am really excited about that. All right. Well, let's talk about the airlines. So the Biden administration with the Department of Transportation had some rule changes We talked about it on the show the other day or a couple weeks ago. If they cancel your flight, they have to give you a refund, right? Airlines kind of pushed back, but they kind of didn't. They didn't really do much about it. Like, okay, that's fair. Yesterday, the three major airlines, United, Delta, American, amongst others, JetBlue, Alaskan Air, Hawaiian Airlines, are filing a lawsuit against the government against a new rule. God forbid. The Biden administration says when you're booking a flight, it must show all the fees that you will pay with that fare. They're making them also say things like if you book basic economy, you don't have to pay to pick your seat. You are guaranteed a seat. And the airlines are saying, no, this is awful. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the nearly $500 million the airlines make a year in fees. So, Haley, whose side are you on? And who's going to win?
I don't think they win this because Marriott didn't get away with it with hotel resort fees. Hyatt and Hilton are forthcoming. It is coming. It is transparency, or as I believe Southwest calls it, transparency.
Transparency.
Yep. But no, I don't see them.
They did not sue, but they were like, bags fly free.
But no, I don't think they're getting anywhere with it. The airlines have enjoyed, even compared, I feel like, to every other sector of hospitality, the most amount of liberties and being able to do whatever they want out of this part of the industry. And I mean, I think there needs to be more regulation and they need to be held to task. Because I mean, we had a conversation, not even about fees, using Flighty like Jason and I talk about, and I finally delved a little bit more into it. I mean, I liked it for the updates and stuff, but I mean, out of the 14 flights I've taken this year, I have 11 hours worth of delays. Like, that's insane.
It is.
That's not okay.
It's not okay.
Like, don't get me wrong, weather happens. Like,
you can't help weather.
But when your crews are timing out, like that's a problem. That's being a little overzealous.
I agree. And then it wasn't on the topic today, but a couple weeks ago, Princess came out and the whole Carnival Corporation came out and said that they were complying with California's new law. The Royal Caribbean Group just came out yesterday, said they're complying with California's law, and they're going to make it countrywide. What they're doing is, when they're showing you the price of a cruise, they now have to start showing port fees and taxes with the price. And that's one thing that I've always done. When I quote any type of vacation to clients, I quote it like, this is out the door with like taxes, fees, gratuities. There's no like, oh, it's per person plus taxes. It's like, this is the price. I always want to be transparent. And I'm glad the websites, at least on the Carnival Corporation, the Royal Caribbean Group, I assume Norwegian's right behind it, and now the airlines.
So many sectors of this industry that aren't like, when I give hotel tips on like my TikTok, YouTube channel, even talking with people that are like planning weddings, for example, they'll go into this being, go into a beautiful hotel, be it, the Westin, the W. Okay, there's a $10,000 food and beverage minimum. Okay, I can do that. But what they forget to talk about is that there's a 28% service charge plus tax. That's a whole nother like quarter plus of that. See, there's always so many little things that pile up. And I think it's time for like I said, the airlines to have a bit more accountability in the way that they act and behave. So
no, I agree 100%. I think it's a bad look for them, and they're going to lose. I think you nailed it with the hotels being the precedent. I didn't even think about that. I think you nailed it. I mean, you're right. I think you're right. So now we're going to jump to cruising for just a little bit.
I had us on this.
No, I'm sorry. You're right. No, that was my mistake. You're right. So this is really neat. So if you don't live in a major hub, right? If you're in Nashville, Syracuse, Rochester. Those are not major hubs. And we
Mhm.
live on these regional jets, right? Like I'm always flying
I'm
Nashville,
always on a CRJ,
right? Nashville,
unless I'm
Kansas.
going to Atlanta, which I try to avoid anyway. So
Right. I'm Nashville, Atlanta, I think is my second most visited airport, right? So United and now Delta are now introducing this new walk up bar in these regional jets. It's going to have like snacks, some drinks available. It appears to be just for first class for right now, which I guess kind of makes sense. But I'm glad that they are realizing, hey, let's make the regional jet experience not awful. Because sometimes the little CRJs, like, unless you're in seat like 1A, it can be not a pleasant experience.
no, they're not the most pleasant
No,
experience.
they are not. They are not. So I'm glad that they are upgrading it. It's
You
and
know,
we
I
still
like the new luggage closet concept because
right.
that's another big issue with those CRJs. And you and I joke about this. Like, I specifically bought my carry on so that it would fit in a CRJ because the last thing I'm doing when I'm going
Right.
to Detroit for work every quarter is checking my one little bag that has 2 to 3 days worth of, outfits and whatnot, that it fits in there. But so many people cannot fit their typical carry-on luggage, which fits on
Other
regular
flights, right.
planes. So I think that's super helpful. And of course, with that being small, like first class, like your people that pay more money, there's not even enough room for their
No.
bags because you have like the one smaller like fake cubbies along the one
Ugh.
side. So you really have like three sections of thin space to fit. What is it? Is it 12 people's worth of luggage?
Yeah, let's see. Let's see.
Because I was in row 4 Sunday, which was the
So
last
these new
row.
ones are going to have 10 in first class, 20 in comfort plus, and 20 in the standard economy.
Okay, so they're probably getting rid of 2 of those. I'm thinking of, you know,
Yeah,
where these are. But there were 12 on my flight, but you're fitting 12 people's luggage into just 3 sections, and that does not.
I agree. I agree.
Especially for a business traveler, they don't want to like go and
I
check
get
in.
it.
They're like me, I want to get my bag and go. Like I
You
plan my
meetings to
flights.
go to run over. I get it. I get it. I mean, I check everything, but I understand. Today is not the day we debate checked
I'm
versus.
sure if we had Jarvis on here, like, when he has done his shorter trips, the last thing I want to do is go down a weight and baggage
Oh,
claim, especially with
he's
like,
actually on me. He checks every trip, no matter how short or how
does
long.
he? See, but for me, like when I'm going to Detroit, I'm trying to maximize my daytime there, so I'm only sleeping like 2 nights instead of 3 nights. So like every minute is very, very
I
precious
get it. I,
to me.
I get it. I get it. All right. Well, this is something I am shocked by. So Port Canaveral, Port Canaveral used to always be the place that like the second tier or even the third tier ships would go, minus Disney, of course. That makes sense. Like I remember, like Royal Caribbean had Freedom of the Seas there like forever, right? And they always had the 3, 4 night ships. It was like, the Enchantment, not always like great ships.
Oh no, I got married on Adventure out of there. It was like a 5 night cruise.
Right, right. So it's always kind of been the second run, third run ships. Um, so we started to see like, MSC is bringing some nicer ships. I just saw that there on MSC and one of their newer ships. Norwegian's bringing some newer ships. Royal Caribbean is bringing Star of the Seas. Like the new Icon class is debuting in Port Canaveral. Celebrities moving Celebrity Apex to Port Canaveral. Like Port Canaveral is really starting to turn into a like real first rate cruise port, and they have announced they are building a new terminal. I mean, my first thought is, where are these people going to stay? Like, I used to stay in Orlando, but there's not a ton of hotel rooms in.
They've been adding more hotel rooms in that market very slowly.
Okay,
But I mean, for me, I think it's in response to the Disney effect. So
sure.
Disney has the Wish going out of there, which is their newest, and it's very, very expensive. And I think that area you're already talking is heavy family.
Yep,
And that's where a lot of these lines compete is heavy family.
yep. I
They can come down, go to Disney, Universal Studios for a couple days, hop on a cruise. Like,
No, I mean Port Canaveral is becoming a major cruise destination. So I I might be. I'm actually doing Wonder of the Seas, another brand new ship premiering out of Port Canaveral. You know, it's like it's becoming a like destination port. So yeah, so I'll be sailing out of there this summer on Wonder of the Seas.
He's
So
forgetting you're doing that one.
I am. I am. Wonder of the Seas. All right. So this one here is for you, Haley. So the WNBA is finally going to be able to fly private thanks to Delta. So for the 2024 season, Delta is going to take care of the WNBA players, fly them private, no more flying scheduled. So kudos to Delta. I mean, Delta is home of Team USA. It's almost Olympic season. So kudos to them. As a WNBA fan and a Delta fan, this is right up your alley.
This is because, I mean, cue the bros talking about how the WNBA isn't huge money making, la la la. We can go on that debate and stand later. But if you weren't aware, there were a lot of issues last year of teams getting stranded, sleeping in airports. Um, just crazy insanity. I think it's a great move for Delta because there is this resurgence in following women's sports. And I love seeing the articles. Like, I saw this one the other day. She's like, my son came home from school and told me about how one of them were, you know, hiking up threes, and they're like, instead of calling like Kobe or whatever, they're like, oh, Caitlin Clark,
That's awesome.
you know. And one of the boys didn't, or it was like, oh, who's that? And all the boys started ragging on him for not knowing who Caitlin Clark was. And it's just like, it's a moment here, you know, it's a coach that's coaching a little girl and a bunch of girls in sports, the empowerment and showing up
It's long overdue.
sports. It's long overdue, and it's really nice to see. And I mean, it's a great marketing step for Delta, especially this new class that just came into the WNBA, has a big social following,
Yeah.
has a lot of younger people following. So it's a great way to put their brand in front of those.
They're going to be in Delta. They're going to be in the Sky Clubs. They're, you know, I mean, they're, yeah, I think that's great. So finally, tip of the day. I know the government has extended this time and time and time again. Real ID.
I
So
feel
if you
like
don't
I've been
know,
this for 10 years.
it's been. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't have real ID on my driver's license. I don't have it. I mean, the passport counts as a real ID.
Well, I usually have my global entry card.
Right. But if you travel domestically and you typically don't travel with like a global entry card, passport book, you have to have real ID that puts a like gold star on your driver's license. There's like additional steps to get the real ID. You have to really prove you are who you say you are. We've been hearing about this for 10 years. The government has said it is finally, the deadline is in 1 year. So plan accordingly.
I'll believe it when I see
I'll
it.
believe it when I see it. I agree. I just saw that article and I was like, well, we'll at least put it in people's minds. The date is coming.
Yeah, so make sure. And if you guys like this show and it's your first time tuning in, we are generally here every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard. We stream to our group on YouTube. So if you go to todayintravel.live, that's where you can find us. I stream on Instagram, you stream on Instagram, and we have a Today in Travel YouTube channel. So make sure you check those out. Jason, I feel like I'm not going to see you till next week, but I'm probably going to call you right after.
Yeah, probably. Yep. Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much and talk to you guys soon.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.